Welcome. Today I'll be speaking to you about active listening and its importance to you as a leader and especially for relationship building. Do you consider yourself a good listener or an effective listener? Before you answer that question, let me remind you of some familiar experiences. There was a time that I've had experiences in the past with customer service representatives. Had I been distracted by other employees that they are talking to, or staying on the phone on a personal call, for example. In fact, in some cases, I have some customer reps actually speaking over me and would not allow me to speak, constantly interrupting me. Now, how do you think that makes me feel? I felt disrespected and I felt that they were not actually listening to me or not hearing what I have to say. Have you ever encountered such a situation? How did that make you feel? My guess is that it actually made you feel exactly the way I felt. It is not only the customer service rep that has to develop these listening skills and ensuring that they do not interrupt or constantly get distracted from listening to us. We all have to. We all have to do that. We all have to listen to those who are speaking to us in order for us to respect them and to build enduring relationships. There are two ways to listen. You can either listen passively, where you do not have a deep understanding or appreciation for what you are hearing, or you can engage in active listening, where you make a connection, or rather, you make a conscious effort to hear and understand people so you can get a complete understanding of what they are saying. Active listening is the skill set required of a great leader. Throughout the course of the day, leaders are inundated with tons of information from various sources: friends, co workers, family, and customers, among others. Technology and social media even makes it more difficult and challenging, causing distractions from effective interpersonal relationships. Leaders thus have a limited capacity to understand and process all the information required. It is therefore important that a leader makes sure he fully understands what people around him are telling him and he reaches out to ensure he's told all he needs to know. Active listening is the only way he can get this done. Have you ever considered, for example, a medical doctor? If you go to an hospital, as a leader, the medical doctor must learn to listen carefully to you before making a diagnosis. He must learn not to interrupt you. He must learn to allow you to finish talking. He must gain your confidence and trust to share your personal information about your ailment with him. Another good example would be educators. Educators are very important to all of us and to mostly everybody in all areas of life. Can you imagine a teacher who cannot observe the non-verbal cues from the class when they are not following him or they are not understanding the material? That teacher will pretty much be speaking to himself. It is important as leaders that we develop this critical quality or skill set if we are going to be effective and successful in all that we do. Effective listening is not a skill or quality that came to me naturally. I'm basically a very humble and passionate person, and I always seek the best in others. Yet I struggled with this skill for years. The biggest aspect of listening that was a problem for me is the need not to interrupt and allow others to finish their thought before I provide my opinion or feedback. I had to learn this skill. Today, I now ensure that I keep my focus on the speaker, I keep my mouth closed, and I simply engage with them with nods, studying their verbal cues. And when they finish, before I will provide feedback after asking them any questions or clarifications. I was a manager for over 20 years. It was until I noticed that some of my employees during meetings or during conversations were reminding me that they have not finished expressing their thoughts, or that I have just interrupted their thought process. Initially, it was frustrating as I was in the high pressure world of information technology at the time, where decisions are very, very fast and you have to get things going so quickly. But I discovered that in order for me to get the best from my team, I have to connect emotionally with them by listening. I needed to listen to what they are saying and learn about things that are important to them. I could remember a very particular incident where I had to sit for over 2 hours with an employee whose dog has just died. It was very, very learning experience for me after going through that uh, listening experience with her. We actually bonded and I learned so much about what is important to her. And we became friends beyond that particular employment situation. I am sure by now you are evaluating your own listening skills and trying to determine how good of a listener are you. Also, I'm sure you are wondering what are the things that I can do to improve my listening skills. There are four key elements to an active listener that is effective and that will be able to make a deep connection with this speaker. I have an acronym for this. You need to pray when you listen. First, you must pay full attention by facing your speaker and making eye contact. You must put your thoughts on hold and focus entirely on what the speaker is saying. You must respond. That's the second one. You must respond appropriately to show that you are listening. Acknowledge what they are saying with nods. Or you can use keywords like really, yes. All that signifies to the speaker that you are engaged and giving them giving them your full attention. Thirdly, you must avoid external distractions. Do not use your phone or computer while people are talking to you. You must minimize interference by keeping a speaker on hold or leaving them to go and talk to other people. This you must avoid at all costs. Finally, you should never interrupt your speaker. You should simply observe their body language and non-verbal cues. And when they finish, you try to summarize what they've said so that you ensure that you have a full understanding and they also aware that you have a full understanding of what they've told you. And then you may ask questions to clarify and then you provide them with an appropriate feedback. If you can do these four things, you are on your way to becoming a very active listener. And by that measure, you are becoming a better and a more effective leader. In conclusion, we have reviewed the important leadership quality of listening. The goal is to share my personal experiences and provide tips that I believe would enable you strengthen this skill in your day-to-day interaction with your followers, customers, competitors, and mentors. Remember to pray as you listen. Pay full attention to your speakers. Respond appropriately. Avoid external distractions of any kind, and you should definitely never interrupt them. Your success as a leader will be measured inevitably by how effective you connect and learn from listening to your people. Great leaders are great active listeners. Thank you for listening and hope you find this beneficial.